Alrighty, welcome back again everybody to another Bloodborne, and today it is the Scourge beast, which is sort of the werewolfy kind of creature that was once human and is now just beast.
A corpse should be left well alone.
They're quite dark characters, the fur is quite dark on it, so I'm thinking I might not zenithal highlight this lovely creature, but instead we might go for some dry brushing on it. So first off, it has been primed black, and I think we can probably dry brush on some Skaven Blight Dinge to begin. Just get a thin application over the fur. Doesn't matter too much if we get it on the sort of rag clothing, because we'll be painting over that later down the line. It's not the driest of dry brushes that I'm doing. There still is a bit of like liquidity to it, but that's okay because this will be the main base coat, and we'll be drying it off more so the more we move up certain colours. But for now, this is kind of just like a dry brushing base kind of situation. Okay, cool. So there is a layer of Skaven Blight Dinge applied. So it's still quite dark, which is what we want. So you won't see too much differentiation currently until we move up to STORMVERMIN Fur, which will be our next colour. And same thing again, but making sure the dry brush is a fair bit dry for this application. And same again, lighter brush strokes. And the lighter you brush it on, it should really only target the sort of outermost edges and areas. So that's it with some Skaven Blight Dinge and some STORMVERMIN Fur applied. Now, I'm gonna probably brighten it up a tad bit more with some DAWNSTONE, just because we've got the sort of murky brown tones and the sort of lighter brown fur coloured highlights in. And I think a bit of DAWNSTONE dry brushed on will just give us a little bit of sort of grey variation in. I'm doing this even lighter than I did with the STORMVERMIN Fur. So we sort of get this kind of looking fella. So what I'll probably do now is I will move and let's do the eyes and the teeth. So we're going to use some CORAX white, and I'm just going to base both the eyes and the teeth with some white using my very fine brush. There we are with his beautiful teeth and eyes painted in. Now for the tongue, I'm going to use some BUGMANS Glow, I think. Just a sort of good tongue colour, I guess. Cool. And I'm probably going to mix some BUGMANS Glow with some ABADDON Black, just to sort of paint the back of the mouth. So that's his beautiful little face. Look at that. What a pretty little chappy. Beautiful. So that's the mouth based. So the shredded apparel, I'm going to base with some ZANDRI dust. There we are. Some lovely shredded clothing added in. Now we can move on to the sort of claws. And I think the claws can be based with some more cast bone, because they aren't black claws. They are a fair bit brighter, so more cast bone is a good starting colour. Okay, so we've got all the claws done in with some more cast bone colour. Okie dokie. Next up, I'm gonna add on a wash of SERAPHIM sepia just to the clothes, just to give them a sort of like old rag kind of feel. Sort of gives them that kind of, you know, coffee stain look, you know, when you sort of dip paper in coffee and it makes it look like old parchment. This is kind of a similar thing, but in this case, for clothing, just to make it kind of look like ropey old rags, I guess. There we go, raggedy old clothes. I'll probably actually add some of it to the claws to give them a bit of character. Very nice indeed. So the next thing is there's a bit of like exposed skin underneath. So I'm going to use some CATACHAN flesh, and all of these there are sort of like loads of areas like on the palms, on the arms underneath. Now I'm going to take some of that more cast bone and kind of basically just like add some plaque to the teeth. Still keep some of that white shining through. I don't want them to be pure white all over. I do want a bit of like bad dental hygiene, you know? They're not using Sensodyne out in Yharnam, so not going to have the brightest of white gnashes. Cool, very nice. Now I'm going to go back to the eyes because I did say earlier that I wanted him to be a bit rabid. So I'm going to take some MEPHISTON red. Basically just paint over the white that we'd applied earlier. Like so. And then while the eyes are red, I'm going to add in a big black pupil. And with the pupil in, I'm going to add in a tiny little dot of white, just for some reflection. Cool. And with that, what I'm going to do is take some ABADDON black and I'm going to pop it down to a sort of glaze wash kind of consistency and basically just add in some shadows because we've lost some contrast with the dry brushing. So we're going to beef it up with a nice glaze, go around all the different areas where there will be shadow casting, beef up some dark shadows. There we are, a lovely little Scourge beast. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some Flesh Tearer's Red Contrast, a shader brush, kind of just flick it like this. And it makes a pretty cool blood splat effect when you do it like that. Just make sure not to get it on everything, you know. And there is one gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, breathtaking, angelic, one beautiful, lovely abomination. Et voila. And with that, that about wraps it up for another Bloodborne session. Stay tuned for more blood and stay tuned for more Born. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Thank you very much once again, everyone, for joining me for this episode of Bloodborne Models. If you did enjoy today's episode, please don't forget to leave it a like, drop a comment, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next Sunday for more Bloodborne Models. But until then, peace out, gang, and don't you dare go hollow.